1967. Somewhere off the coast of North Vietnam, four fishermen were trawling the waters close to Hon Mat Island, 150 miles south of Hai Phong. Suddenly, three strange boats screamed past. One of them turned around, cut its engines, and drifted alongside. A dozen North Vietnamese men carrying AK-47s left aboard the fisherman's boat, and in perfect North Vietnamese dialect announced, "We are your brothers. We are the sacred sword of the Patriots League." The fishermen put up no resistance as they were herded aboard the strange boat. A few hours later, they felt the boat slowing down. When their blindfolds were removed, they found themselves in a small cove in what appeared to be a North Vietnamese fishing village. Over the village flew a strange blue and white flag. "This is liberated territory. You are welcome here, my brothers." Over the next 2 weeks, they were fed unlimited amounts of food, better than anything they'd eaten in the communist country at war for the last 15 years. The music played in the evenings was a mixture of songs long since banned by the MVA. The topics of conversation were well-known corrupt North Vietnamese officials and everything wrong with the current way of life in communist North Vietnam. On their last night, they were taught secret recognition signals and how to receive instructions through clandestine radio broadcasts. Then, laden down with gifts now impossible to come by in North Vietnam, they were led back to the boats they were brought by, and in turn to their fishing vessels. If it hadn't been for the blindfolds they were wearing, they would have been able to see an adjacent cove to the one they just left. However, this one didn't have a blue and white flag flying above it. It had the stars and stripes. The island wasn't in North Vietnam after all. It was Chu Lai Island, well south of the 17th parallel, just off the coast of South Vietnam. The whole thing was an elaborate ruse called Project Humidor, carried out by MACV-SOG's Ops 33 Psychological Studies branch, staffed by a mixture of CIA and Special Forces soldiers. Crippling political limitations prevented the CIA from doing anything that would cause wholesale revolution and the deposition of the North Vietnamese government. Not to be perturbed, the CIA created an imaginary one instead, with the sole purpose of causing destruction and mayhem. Why assassinate the enemy yourself when you can get the enemy to do the job for you? Why assassinate the enemy yourself when you can get the enemy to do the job for you? Unbelievably, the whole thing arose from the US not knowing what to do with a small fleet of Norwegian Nasty-class torpedo boats, originally used for retaliatory attacks against the North Vietnamese in 1966 prior to the American Air War. Just think about this for rationale. Do we A, decommission the boats, B, sell them to another navy, C, build a fake village on an island, staff it with actors playing the part of a fabricated resistance movement, and use the boats to kidnap North Vietnamese fishermen to be brought and brainwashed and then fed disinformation? The speed of the Nasty-class torpedo boats was key to the plan working. With the fishermen blindfolded, they miscalculated how far they travelled and thought they must still be in North Vietnamese waters. The CIA and SOG knew the fishermen would be debriefed by their local counterintelligence units upon their return, so most of the information they were fed was false. This included a multitude of plots implicating top officials in corrupt activities. The best way to make any large-scale deception work is to have one continuing narrative you can hang lots of smaller ones off. These included dropping resupply bundles to phantom resistance groups, sending birthday cards and letters to top officials with hidden messages, and depositing large amounts of money in their names in offshore bank accounts. You have to love the sophistication of the CIA.